We were having dinner in the house, and in my house in London. And Siobhan went upstairs, saw this picture in an alcove at the top of the stairs, and she asked me when she came down, "Who took that picture? What is that picture of? It are there more photographs like it?" This is my ancestral home. This is where my father grew up with his five brothers and one sister.
And then I was quite curious if there were more of them, and there were lots more of them. And what made it even more interesting was they hadn't been photographed.
If you look at the book, we have 23 houses. And apart from our old house, apart from this house, every other house is still in family hands. There's still private homes. The challenge there was getting permission to actually enter their houses and photograph them. Wow, my house is going to be in a book. So that made people quite, enamored of the idea. But you did mention the Spanish influence. Now, these are some of the oldest houses in the book. And these certainly have what's called this Spanish leanings. If it's in terms of the windows and the fact of these, how do you call this? The gallery underneath. When you think of the Plaza Mayor in Madrid.
I'm kind of classic architectural photographer, and that's you try to represent exactly what's in front of you. So there's no art photography, you don't interpret it another way. It's normal to use natural light, and in order to do that, you have to use a tripod because you often have long exposures. And then just the techniques of straight line and perspectives. A little technical, but also the use of shift and tilt lenses, especially for external photography. I wanted to show this house because it's one of my favorite. I love Art Deco, and this was on a really busy road. And when you went through the gate, you felt like you could have been anywhere, really. It was like such a shock to see it. One of the restrictions we had on the photography was time. And some houses we had a full day to photograph. This particular house, even though it was so exceptional, we got to the door and they said you got 2 hours. So that's not much time because I work on a tripod. It's architectural photography tends to be a little slower because you compose it on camera rather than tweaking it afterwards.
Well, this is an interesting bit because the architects themselves, whom they worked with, also studied in Paris and also studied in New York. So they knew about Art Deco, they knew about Art Nouveau. And so that together, okay, with these traveling beings and these professional experts, it was their coming together with little sketches and imagination that allowed them to come up with houses that look like this. Now they are a mishmash, and Ian would tell you there's some Bauhaus leanings with the Mannerist surprises. What's called this behind the neoclassical facade. A lot of the the paneling on the walls and the floors were made of Nara and Tindalo. These are old hardwoods. It brings out the red wood. So it looks quite luxurious, and that's why people like to use it. The wider the floorboards, the what called this, the better is for, it's another symbol of success. The winners were exhibited in Somerset House, and they gave Siobhan a whole room bigger than this, and they had 6 or 7 photographs, so you could actually experience it. And they then very kindly gave the photos to you, so she's brought them here for you to see.